Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Pokarna Limited Q2 FY22 earnings conference call. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Gavin Desa from CDR India. Thank you, and over to you, Mr. Desa.
Thank you, Neera. Good day, everyone, and a warm welcome to Pokarna Limited's Q2 and H1 FY22 earnings conference call. We have with us today Mr. Gautam Chand Jain, Chairman and Managing Director, and Mr. Paras Kumar Jain, Chief Executive Officer, Pokarna Engineered Stone Limited. I trust most of you have gone through the communication and result presentation that have been mailed to you earlier. In the interest of time, we would like to commence Q&As immediately, so I would like to request the moderator to open the floor for question and answers. Over to you, Neera.
Thank you very much. We'll now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Participants, you may press star and one to ask a question. The first question is from the line of Pritesh Chheda from Lucky Investment Managers. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity and sir, congratulations on successful ramp up of the second plant in quartz. My question is, in this quarter at 135 crore, that revenue that we see, what should be now the utilization of our plant 1 and what is the utilization of plant 2? In the past call, you were expecting that by quarter 4, you should head towards a 50% utilization on plant 2, but it seems that it's a lot earlier. So now how do you see the ramp up of the new plant?
Yeah. Thank you, Pritesh, for your question. So coming to the first question in terms of the breakup, typically I think you can look at Unit 1 is about 80 to 85%, and Unit 2 is at about 40 to 45% of the utilization. And we believe that as we maintain, the ramp up would be gradual, and it also depends upon the product mix what we are doing. So right now we have still not gone into the high end of the products. So I think gradually by fourth quarter we should be between 55 to 60% is what is our estimate.
Okay. On full scale, should one look at about 200 to 250 crore type quarterly revenue possible on these two plants?
Yeah, I would let you do that mathematics. I can only talk about what is possible in terms of the capacity utilization because the numbers are a function of various factors, including the product mix. So it all depends upon what product mix will finally get settled at those numbers. So I think you can look at these numbers and then do some extrapolation and some adjustments.
Okay. My second question is, sir, on the demand in quartz, if any comments that you could share, especially on the export side, would be helpful. And lastly, what is now the debt, gross debt and the net debt figure on half yearly for us after the conversion if of the current liability has happened into debt, and what should be your debt repayment schedule for this year and next year?
No, sir, I have already informed last quarter. Actually, we already cleared all the LCs. Now entire and actually the debt is already in the books. So for the project and actually we have taken 250 crores. Out of that 199 is actually in FCTL and remaining 51 crores in rupee term loan as per the RBI guidelines.
So what should be the gross debt number? 300 crores?
Now for term loan for the Unit 2 it is actually 250. Then actually the promoters one is actually 100 crore plus.
So basically 350 crores is the total gross debt of the company.
Yeah, no, only per subsidiary. Then actually the 15 crores for the parent company.
So 375.
Yes.
And what is the drawdown expected over the next 2 years? What is the payment repayment schedule?
No, the next one actually the 1 year and actually the repayment is and actually including parent and subsidiary is around 25 crores.
And how much are you expected to bring down the debt from 375 in the next 2 years?
Next 2 years and actually it will be 50 crores then. And as per actually this one, but it's subject to,
Okay.
yeah. Because actually this 250 crores is an actually tenure of 7 years.
Okay, sir. And sir, on that demand side, if you could just answer that.
Yeah. So the demand continues to be stable in the North American market. So we believe that the traction will continue.
Okay. Thank you very much, and sir, wish you happy Diwali and happy New Year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wish you the same.
Thank you. A request to all the participants, please restrict to 2 questions per participant. If time permits, please come back in the question queue for a follow-up question. The next question is from the line of Dixit Doshi from Whitestone Financial. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. My first question is regarding the 2 costs. So I assume that, in this quarter, the gross margins have come down. So is it mainly due to the resin price increase, or it is also because the new plant has ramped up with a lower margin products, and as you move forward with the high-end products, the margins will come back to normal?
See, basically, gross margins got impacted for multiple reasons. One is definitely the inflationary trend on the raw material prices across. So it's not just resin today. I think every industry is passing through inflationary trend on the cost. So we see that the inflation continues on almost every raw material which we have. So that's also one of the factor. And second thing, as you estimated, in terms of the product profiling, as it's the initial stage of the plant, we have focused more on the capacity ramp up and started with relatively basic products. So as these 2 things neutralize or come to some reasonable levels, there is a possibility for margins to improve.
Okay. And in terms of freight cost, are we able to pass on most to the customer, or how is it contracted with the customer?
See, basically, all our freight costs are pass-through basis on the export side. But on the import side, whatever we import, we typically bear it as a cost. So, but predominantly the freight cost is on the export side, which is largely impacted. So we don't have major impact of that in terms of the cost, but it impacts the ability to sell more because customers are not able to pass on probably the same level of inflationary adjustments to their end consumers in the US market.
Okay. And one last question, and then I'll join back in the queue. There is still 63 crore of capital work in progress. Can you explain what is this regarding?
That's in the old plant in Vizag, and the machines are under erection. So of course we gave priority to the new plant through Italian technicians to first complete this job. So now they have taken up, and I think before the end of this quarter, all the machines will be operational by then.
So this will increase the capacity at old plant as well, or it's just a replacement of some machinery?
It is actually an additional replacement because the old machines which have crossed their age, so we need to be ready for replacement of some equipment which requires update. So I think we may still increase some, this is a polishing capacity mostly and packaging. So there will be a little change, but not major.
Okay. I'll join back in the queue. Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sonal Kohli from Bohed Investments. Please go ahead.
Firstly, sir, my apologies. I missed when you were answering about the ramp up. Did you give any schedule of the ramp up over the next, course of next few quarters or years,
What I mentioned was that by Q4 we expect the capacity to be between 50 to 60% from the original 50% which we envisaged. That's what I mentioned.
Great. And by end of next year, should we be running at full capacity?
Yeah. So basically, we were expecting a period of about 18 months to come to the peak capacity utilization. So I think by end of next year, financial year, typically, it's a fair assumption that we'll be operating at our optimum capacity.
Secondly, sir, on the raw material prices trend, how are they looking like for this quarter? And secondly, have you been able to initiate any price increases which would have a positive impact on EBITDA margins either in this quarter or next quarter?
The inflationary trend on the cost seems to be moving forward, so I don't expect that the costs will taper down in a near future. The ability to pass on the cost increase is very limited today, so that's what the position is.
Thirdly, sir, on the new machine side, you mentioned that in the old plant the new machines are going to come up. Will it lead to increase in margins or better product mix or any impact either on your revenues, cost, side or the product mix side?
Yeah. So basically, if all the equipment function to their best of their potential, which includes designing a better product, then it will have an overall impact on the revenue and also the cost structure. But it's very difficult to today tell you what will be exactly on the sales and what will be on the cost, because the product line is still not developed and it's not complete. So it will be sort of a crystal gazing today.
Sir, has ship availability improved or are you expecting to improve in next 1 to 3 months, Any visibility you have on that side?
Can you please come back? I didn't get your question.
The availability of ships for you to export, how is that, let's say what it was 3 months ago, what it is now, and how are you seeing it in terms of availability, over next 1 to 2 months, and has that been a constraining factor for you to export?
Yeah, so basically the results do reflect that. The shipping has been a constraint, but today I think October was relatively, in terms of availability of ships, better than September. So we believe that gradually things should improve, but then sometimes it's very difficult to predict as to what actually will happen. If globally the situations are normal, including China, US and other major importers and the exporters, I think gradually the things should come in control, except for some intermediate 1 or 2 months in between.
Thank you. Sunil, I'll request you to come back in the question queue. I request all the participants, please restrict to 2 questions per participant. You may join the queue for a follow-up question. The next question is from the line of Rupesh from IntelSense Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Please go ahead.
I have 2 more data giving questions. The first is in this quarter for pods, can you give me split between domestic and exports? 135 crore split?
Basically, the domestic market is still in a single digit. So largely what you see is export. So I think domestic for this discussion we can consider it very negligible.
Okay. And then split between Vizag and Hyderabad for pods?
Yeah. So we broadly like 30 to 35% you can attribute to the Hyderabad facility and balance to the Vizag.
So roughly 40-45 crore for Hyderabad.
Yeah.
Okay. And then any what are the CapEx plans for this year and next year? Because you are seeing full capacity utilization by next year with March. So
right now the focus is on putting all the investments which have been done, including some capital work in progress in our first unit in Visakhapatnam. So at the moment we don't have any concrete plan for the CapEx. If there is any, we'll come back and give an update in the normal channel.
Okay. And then so the last question is, what is our client concentration in pods for top 3 now, and how do you see it, like, let's say March 22 and then March 23?
See, basically that's a sort of a proprietary data, so I can't talk much about it. But what we can tell you is that we work very selectively and with niche players and boutique players. So we are not a mass commodity type of a seller.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dixit Doshi from Whitestone Financial Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah, just couple of questions from my side. One is if you can highlight slightly on a granite performance, how do you see it going forward?
The performance in granite was also impacted because of the shipping mainly, because the major turnover comes from block exports, and the costings were unrealistic, and therefore a lot of buyers were holding the dispatches, and that's one reason. But more or less it will remain stable. We don't see any big growth happening or jump happening in granite business, but it will remain stable.
But typically we used to, do 25 crore of top line. So was this quarter one-off, or you feel that as of now it looks like 13-15 crore would be the run rate?
No, we should do somewhere about 20 crores on an average, but it all depends on the shipping, because the bulk of the turnover comes from block exports, and today the shipping costs to China are very high, so the buyers are restraining dispatches. So as the things improve, the same turnover will reflect in the next quarter.
Okay. And one last question from my side. Is my understanding right that, the old plant, we were not making these new products like kitchen sinks, and this new plant is doing those new products? If it's yes, then how is the response of such new products?
No, the products may come from any plant, but right now it doesn't reflect in the turnover yet. So these are the new inventions, and this will be in the market in a gradual way. But eventually going forward, there is no restriction that we will do only in one plant or both the plants.
Okay, that's it from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sachin Kasera from Swan Investments. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, sir, and congrats for a good set of numbers. My question was, you mentioned that the demand is strong, and you also mentioned in the presentation in the call that the challenges due to COVID and shipping. So is it that we could have done little better in terms of revenues if not for this COVID and shipping related challenges?
Yeah, that's basically the reason. See, shipping is more than COVID today. Shipping is a challenge because I think demand today doesn't really get impacted by COVID, at least what we see in some of the pockets. Majority is coming because of the shipping related constraints, and also because of whatever we are doing in Unit 2 in terms of the product mix and profiling.
Sure. Anything you'd like to put, like say 5-10% we could have done better if not for the shipping challenges? If you would like to give some sense on that.
Yeah, see, basically that's a marginal percentage what you're talking. If shipping situations improve, probably the numbers can better than those.
Sure. And my question on the COVID impacting was more from a supply side, in the sense due to some restrictions and all. Is it impacting now, or is it now we are fully vaccinated, and as far as the production goes, we are not facing any change due to COVID in the plant?
Basically, fortunately, almost 100% of our workforce on all the factories across the group and corporate headquarters are all vaccinated. So the COVID related we are predominantly seeing on the import of the raw materials, because most of the chemical manufacturers for some or the other reasons are declaring force majeure or having challenges. So that's where the COVID is impacting the procurement ability to some extent, and that means that we have to block our working capital a little or plan ahead, and of course the inflationary cost tendency is definitely quite high there.
Sure. Second was a little medium-term question, sir. You mentioned that the plant is coming up well and you are seeing strong demand, and I hope this at some point of time next 2-3 quarters the shipping thing should also get sorted out. So over next 3-4 years, the priority would be, if we see strong demand, we may look at further addition of capacity, or because now that there's some debt that has come due to the new plant, the first priority would be to significantly bring down the debt levels over the next 2.5-3 years, and then maybe look at some sort of an expansion.
As we've just completed our expansion, I think we should give a reasonable fair amount of time for planning for expansion. And obviously it is subject to the demand that we see in the market and the opportunities that we think that we should encash on. So it is little early to talk about future expansions today.
Sure. And last question is on...
Sorry to interrupt you, Sachin. I'll request you to come back in the question queue for a follow-up question. A request to all the participants, please restrict to 2 questions per participant. Please join the queue back for a follow-up question. The next question is from the line of Anish Jobalia from Banyan Capital Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sir, and the team. Good morning. It's reassuring to see the climbing up of the quartz revenues in this quarter. One is I just wanted to understand the gross debt a bit better, because if I were to look at your results, then you have mentioned the borrowings in the long term to be 380 odd crores and the short term to be 118, so that's close to 500 odd crores. And you just mentioned it's close to 375. So what am I missing? And if you could help to reconcile that, would be very helpful.
Short-term debt is actually the working capital debt only.
Right. So the total debt would be 500 odd crores, right? So that's the right way to think of it.
Yeah, including working capital, it's 500, yes.
Okay. And secondly, I just want to understand in terms of the margins. Could you give a sense of how the margins are, what kind of margins we are generating at the old plant versus the new plant, and whether the new plant has already reached a break-even, and what's your outlook on the margins given the inflation in the raw materials? Would be helpful to know that, sir.
Mr. Paras has already explained to you the reason for the change in the margins. Obviously, if you want again to understand, let me once again put it back to you that one basic reason is obviously definitely the price increase happening on the raw material front. But also, the new plant as a strategy, we make low raw price product so that it's easier to ramp up the capacity. And then the customers who want those products in a bigger capacity and quantity is easier to sell. So margins will always keep varying a few percentage here or there, but it also is the reason being that when we make more of 20 mm, the price realization is less than the 30 mm we make, the volumes, the realization is more. So it's the product mix, the thicknesses, the margins depending on the raw material again. So it will be difficult to stick to one margin throughout. We will always have this challenge.
No, sir, but what I'm trying to understand is that given our first plant or the old plant is operating at 80-85, so in the past we used to do 40% margins over there. So are we closer to that, or we are getting impacted because of the raw material prices? And can we get back to that number, in the next few quarters? So because of this raw material inflation and obviously you are doing other things around the product mix, so on a blended basis, we are expecting 35% kind of margins when the utilization ramps up by the end of the next year. So that thought process.
I think if you go back to our previous discussions also on the previous calls, we believe that between 30 to 35% is the margin which we are targeting. Anything above that for various reasons is a bonus. So I think you can consider those numbers.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rishikesh Bhagat from Kotak Mahindra Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for this opportunity. So first question is related to the negative cash flow from operation. If I look at it, it is largely driven by the higher inventory. So how should we look at this? Is it related to in anticipation of higher demand, or is it something related to attributed to shipping delays itself? So if you can throw some light on that.
Yeah, predominantly the inventory rise is because of the shipping related challenges, and also to some extent we are also building up some of the raw materials in anticipation of the delays in shipping and all where we import. So predominantly everything is attributable to the shipping.
Okay. And that also explains the higher payable also, right? Because that's also one.
Exactly. That's how it's tying up.
Okay. Okay. The second is on the granite side. If I look at it here, I think the sales has been fairly muted for multiple years. I'm not talking about this quarter itself. And I understand the end market of granite, at least in the past commentaries, has been that it's a fairly challenging market in terms of competitive intensity and everything. So just want in sense of the presence in this segment, how does it help? Does it that we just filling a product gap with our probably vendors and anything, or probably channel partners? So from that perspective, or is there any strategic reason to be in this segment?
No, in addition to what you are talking, there is another new challenge, that is the royalties on the raw material have been increased by the Andhra Pradesh state government. So the granite business, what we see for ourselves is going to be stable. It will not going to have any adverse, but at the same time, no big ramp up possibility. As a strategy also, because the competition between organized players and unorganized players is large, and for the domestic market, it's very difficult to compete with unorganized players. So as a strategy, we would like to continue what we are doing, work with our quarries, our own raw material, and processing in the factories, preferably coming from our own quarries. So as there is not big margins available in outsourced products, we would continue to do what we are doing today.
Thank you. A request to all the participants, please restrict to 2 questions per participant. The next question is from the line of Ayush Yogani from Nivesha Investment Advisory. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So I wanted to understand the revenue from different regions. That what are the export sales? Because I've lost the voice in between. So what is the domestic sales and what is the export sales, and which region is contributing, has shown significant improvement? Is it majorly from US?
Sales. Predominantly they come from North America. So today, as I said at the beginning of my call, domestic sales are currently negligible. We are building up our domestic sales gradually. Today, if you go to our website, you can find where all we are available, and you will see that gradually the things will keep improving in terms of how we ramp up the domestic. But always the exports market will outshadow or outpower the domestic market.
Okay, and the region-wise export data, if you can share that, how much it is contributed from US or Australia?
And that's what I told. So when I say over 95% is, over 90% is going to US, that itself shows that all the other countries have a very limited role.
Okay. Yeah, that is it from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Karthikeyan from PS Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning to both of you. Congratulations on a very impressive performance. But just trying to understand the utilization thought you expressed. Do you anticipate any demand-related challenges at all in the US market due to this inflation aspect? And secondly, a slightly longer-term question related to what was asked earlier. Is there reasonable visibility for you over a 5-year time frame, for example, to say double, triple your capacity? Some thoughts on that would be interesting because it would give us a perspective on the sustainability of your growth.
As you are aware that we've been focusing on export markets from the long period, and we would continue to do that. And for long-term 5 years, I would say that the market remains buoyant, our relationships are very strong, and we definitely look at increasing our revenues, top line as well as bottom line from the same customers and same markets. But then, again, it all depends on the market, how it will remain after 5 years. Today we see the market for quartz is very stable, growing and growing continuously. Anything else you want?
No, that is comforting. That is comforting. I am assuming also that as the product mix improves, profitability automatically will improve commensurately, and therefore all the other things will happen automatically. So congratulations and very best future.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pratik Singhania from Sage One Investments. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good morning. Congratulations for very good set of numbers. So my question is with regards to the quartz basins and sinks that we do. So given one of the other listed companies have a good sales and they have some kind of a technology which enables them to deliver good quality product. So do we have such kind of technology in-house, or we have procured from outside for us to manufacture sinks and basin? And how do you see this business scaling up?
I assume you are talking about Acrosil quartz sinks.
Right.
Our product is completely different from their product, because when we say it's a quartz sink, the percentage of quartz compared to resin is quite different. Our stone has all the way up to 93% quartz. So this product is completely different, the density is different, and the market is also different because the price points and the target consumers are also different. The technology is completely developed by Quantra team, so we have not bought any technology. We in fact we funded this research for almost 3 years within our company, and over a period of 3 years we've been able to successfully commercialize the product, and for the first time we displayed it in the Marmomag exhibition which happened early this month in Italy. So slowly, it's a new product category because we are the first company which has got this complete range in the world. So the end consumers are different. In fact, the consumers for us also are different. So we are developing this category. It's a long race, so it's very, very difficult to predict as to where we will land in 1 or 5 years. But it's an interesting journey. It's a new product, and we are working on creating a category for this product now.
So can you please elaborate on the differentiation in the target customer, like how would you rate our customer versus?
Today, a quartz sink, which any other so-called quartz sinks which are sold in the market, you buy them at 5,000 rupees or 6,000 rupees. But if you go to my website, you can look at different products and you can find the pricing yourself. So the consumer who is affording a 5,000 rupees sink will not typically buy a 25,000 rupees sink. So there is a completely different, and the concept how we are selling is different, because our product is supposed to be integrated along with the countertop. So basically your sink will look like your countertop, whereas all the other quartz sinks what you buy from any other manufacturer, be it in India or China, they all look like a solid color. Today you can make a sink which looks like a marble countertop or a quartz countertop, which we have. So it's a completely different approach to the product line, and that's the reason the consumers are different and the market is different.
Got it. Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Fatima Khan from Kamvata Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I have 2 questions. First is, when are you planning to go from B2C? And the second question I'll follow up after this particular question, please.
Already we are in B2C segment today in India. If you look at our website, you can find more details about how we are on B2C. So we offer some of our products today on e-commerce. So you can buy a product on our portal. That is one way. Secondly, today, right across India, we are doing a countertop installation service for our product. So basically, anybody in India can order a countertop from us and can have it installed at their place in 15 days. So we are already taken the journey what we started with IKEA to even to all the other customers. So on our website, you can find where all we are currently available in India or for our channel partners. And gradually we are expanding the channel partner reach as well.
Okay, so you're offering the service only in India or abroad as well?
No, right now the focus is in India, and I believe that it will continue to be in India for at least near future.
Okay. My second question would be about the unorganized peer competition which you had mentioned. Post GST, we have been seeing a consolidation in the market, but you mentioned that competition from unorganized is pretty tough in your case. So are you not seeing a consolidation in this market?
That's what I was talking was about granite industry, because in granite, it's a God-made product, it's not a man-made product, so the same material can be available from unorganized small-scale industry where the product quality is different and which is already being sold in Indian market from the small scale industries where the machines investment is very low. The raw materials that they use is all leftover blocks from quarries where the cost of raw material is also very low. So obviously the price for those kind of products are much lower. Also they have tax benefit in terms of royalties, and they don't need to pay royalties to the government because there is a separate category for royalties for those kind of industries. So that's what we call as unorganized sector. As far as we are concerned, we use all the best of the Italian machines. Our product quality is of international standard, and our focus on finished product is also on such products which are meeting the international standards. So obviously we cannot do change in processing capacity that we have, and therefore we don't see that going forward also there is not much of any new colors available in the granite quarrying operations. So basically almost we are working with the same colors over the years and years. The quartz is a different market where we can create new designs, and the customers and the architects prefer to use quartz more and more today for kitchen countertops even in India. So granite I was talking about was the granite industry, not quartz.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sonal Kohli from Boyer Investment Advisors. Please go ahead.
So thank you again for this opportunity. I had two questions. Firstly, sir, do you expect at any stage, your contribution in your, old plant, in your new plant to match with your old plant? And would you expect at some point of time, when 1 year away or 1.5 years away, it to be higher than your old plant in terms of contribution margins?
Going forward, obviously, we have new technology in the new plant, and then the efficiencies we hope will be better than the old plant. So overall impact at least will be more or less same or even more than the old plant. That's ramp up will take some time because the acceptance of the new products, developing new products takes time. And then as already told earlier, we look at 2 to 3 years time frame to achieve better margins and utilization, and you'll see those numbers in top line as well as bottom line.
So sir, considering your historical margins have been way higher and the shipping is assuming is not another 2-year phenomena, is there a particular reason why you don't expect, and considering the new plant is more efficient than the old plant, at least as good as the old plant, 2 years down the line, in a normalized world, why wouldn't you expect your old margins to come back, or this 30 to 35% EBITDA margin was more short-termish, and not the long-term EBITDA margin guidance?
Basically, if you've been following my commentary on the call for the last 3-4 years, you'll always see that we maintain that range of 30 to 35. So because there are many things which are not in our control. When we were doing a 50% things also, a lot of things were not in our control. We had a stabilized raw material situation. So that was a different scenario. So in a utopian world, yes, the things can come back. But in a normal world, I don't know really as to where we will land. But I think the focus has been on 30 to 35 and it will continue to be on that.
Sir, but do you expect the normal world going forward to be way worse than the normal world in the past?
See, everybody has an opinion. You have one and I have one. The world is very subjective. So I think we'll maintain as to what we think. We think that 30-35% seems to be the right margin to target.
Or shall I read your statement that says that 30-35 is the minimum you are aiming to make, and there's a possibility of you reverting back to the past,
See, you can't put your words into my mouth. Whatever I have said, I maintain that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question is from the line of Sachin Kasera from Swan Investments. Please go ahead.
Yeah, sir, just two queries more. Once things stabilize in the next couple of quarters, how should we look at the working capital cycle for the quartz business?
So I think the working capital cycle should also normalize once the situation in terms of shipping improves.
Yeah, so it's a little higher now, so we should expect improvement by at least 8 to 10 days or even more is possible.
If the shipping cycle improves, the working capital situation will definitely improve.
Okay. And secondly, even in terms of inventory, earlier because we had only one plant, so is it that now with two plants being there, in terms of number, while absolute inventory may obviously will be much higher, but in terms of number of days, once again the new plant stabilizes, the inventory in terms of number of days would be lower than what it used to be historically when we were only having one plant?
Yeah, see, basically the dynamics of both the units are same. So more or less it should be in the similar lines.
Okay. And just one clarification on the debt part, the 500 crores that was mentioned, including working capital, that includes the loan from the promoters, right? Or that is over and above this 500 crores?
That includes the promoter contribution.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take that as the last question. I will now hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Thank you, and I wish all of you a very happy and prosperous Diwali. See you on the next conference call. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Pokarna Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.